Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Unfiltered Counseling. I'm Kelly Avritt. I'm your host.
I'm John Avritt. I'm her husband.
He's the star of the show.
Yeah.
We're here today to talk about positive assumptions.
Positive assumptions.
It's
a tough day for this, right? I'll get it out of the way.
Go ahead and get it out.
The day we're recording, and the reason we're both in black is we're in mourning. But I do have positive assumptions about the rest of the Longhorn football season after losing today to Ohio State. Well, that's all I will say.
We'll see how resilient we are.
I might start crying. So we're going to see.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, this is going to test our resilience.
Yeah, for sure.
And our ability to have positive assumptions.
It's
correct.
True. It's true. So we ended last episode we were talking about John Candy and, planes, trains, and automobiles. And sometimes we find ourselves on the wrong side of things, let's say. And when we talk about resilience and we talk about adversity and overcoming adversity, we have to have mental flexibility. We have to demonstrate that. You talked all about that. But where do positive assumptions fit into this?
Well, it's a really difficult thing, I think, for people to remind themselves to have. In this great big world, one thing we can count on is our fight or flight instinct. And our fight or flight instinct, or our survival switch, is always working at finding things that could be threatening to us. And so right off the bat, we're ready to react to things that might harm us. The fight or flight instinct, though, even though we're like human and we're evolved and we're beautiful, it stayed primitive. It has to. It has to be as primitive today as it was when we were all cavemen. And it detects everything as a threat. And so right off the bat, we're thinking of what are things that are negative. Unfortunately, there is not an equal and opposite mechanism to fight or flight. There isn't one that also tells me what is good. We have to be the ones that do that, which means we have to be wired to tell ourselves to have positive assumptions about people, about events, about constructive criticism in relationships and in marriage, and be very good at deciphering what are actual threats that could be harming me and what are actual lessons that could be teaching me.
So I think that as a couple who've been married a couple of years at this point.
We've had some marriage birthdays, yes.
We have. We're well seasoned in this, and we weren't always good at this. But I would say that the ability to have positive assumptions about people, it's much easier sometimes to do it with strangers than it is with your own spouse. And I think it's because of the buildup, I guess, the relationship buildup, or maybe this is the safe person. I don't know. You'll be able to tell me. Like, you're the counselor type. You'll be able to figure that out. But I think one of the things that was the most powerful for me with our relationship, and it was something that you and I probably fought the most about, was having positive assumptions. Because if I assume that you don't want the best in me, and I'm assuming that you're after me and you're this or that, we have no chance at a relationship. But when you're stuck, how does that change your frame? When you're stuck, how do you step out of that as a therapist? How do you help people step out of that so that they can actually have a positive, do you see what I'm saying?
I do. Well, first of all, I want to say that you taught me to have positive assumptions because you always had positive assumptions about me. You knew that I could have been frustrated. I could have been angry. I could have been mad at you. I could have been mad at life, from work, mad that we lost a game or something. And you taught me to have positive assumptions about you and about life. That is a challenge because when people get stuck, I think the risk is that we develop what's called learned helplessness. I can't succeed. Other people are getting what I don't get. Other people are being appreciated when I'm not. No one's recognizing me. I'm not important. I can't. So I'm going to be helpless and hopeless. And we end up feeling defeated. It's called the defeat response. And so this stuckness to not knowing how to overcome and to push through and learn and be mentally flexible can lead to helplessness, hopelessness, and defeat. And
defensiveness.
And absolutely defensiveness. Because in a relationship, when your significant other, even if you've been married for 25 or 30 years, can come at you with a problem they're trying to solve. So they are a problem solver coming to you with a problem, but it activates that feeling inside of you. Again, fight or flight, switch goes on. I'm immediately defensive because I think I'm the problem. I'm not having a positive assumption in that moment. I have forgotten that you're my teammate, that you chose me and I chose you. And I get defensive. And it's so funny how we come up with these topics to talk about. And it's almost like
it's real life or something we're living.
Like it's real life. Yeah. And it's like, but like, it's amazing. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. You hear something in the week that you're like, oh, I really love that. And then it's just a few short days later and like, that was meant for me. Right. So I heard this thing earlier in the week.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where we were going to.
Yeah, I know.
You're doing great. You look terrific.
Yeah. Right. It's from Jordan Peterson. And a lot of people know Jordan Peterson. And I saw this snippet and he was like, it is. And he was talking to men. He was like, it's a fucking stupid strategy to always try and win arguments with your wife. Now you could take that for a whole nother direction. Right. Like, yeah, no shit, Jordan. Right. But what he meant by it was, it's a fucking stupid strategy to always win arguments with your wife. And this goes for both spouses, though. Because what that means, if you're good at it, it means your spouse is always a loser.
Yeah.
And you're crushing your spouse. If you're always winning arguments, and that is your sole purpose, you're having a negative assumption about what you are in conflict over. You think that other person's out to get you, because you've been stuck, because you feel helpless and hopeless and defeated, and you're making your spouse feel small. And that is fundamentally the dumbest fucking marital strategy ever.
100%.
Yeah. And you taught me that, though. You did.
I don't.
And I think in your career in public education and in higher education and dealing with staff and students and parents, that had to have been challenging to have positive assumptions about the trifecta of potential storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a gift more than anything because, when you have kids, when you become a parent, it's real easy to sit back and go, oh, if I have a kid, I would never do that. And oh, when I have a relationship, I'm never taking that. And if somebody's going to treat me that way, like, oh my gosh, you don't know until you're sitting right in the middle of it, what you're going to do. That's the bottom line. And so as I'm with children or I'm with parents, I am a parent, right? My viewpoint was always, I was so opinionated. I knew exactly how I was going to parent, and we're not going to do this, and we're not going to do that, and we're not going to watch TV, and we're not, whatever. Yes, you do. There's McDonald's bags flying out of the car. Like all the things you stand up and say, I'm absolutely not going to do, somehow changes. But my point to this is, once I had a kid and I realized, oh, this perfect being that I have that I think is perfect, is not going to be perfect. And I dealt with a million kids and I realized I love all those kids exactly like they are. And so I think I can't help but be that way. I can't help but see that everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time, right? Like I'm not special. We're just all doing the best we can every day with what we have. So when a parent calls me screaming and yelling or frustrated or whatever, my frame is always, you know what? Today they're doing the best they can with what they have. And so I'm going to try to listen. I'm going to try to figure this out for you. Now don't get too crazy because it might not, eventually I have a long fuse, but the other thing that I learned through all of that, giving people a chance and giving people a minute, mainly because I need that also. I need that grace every day for somebody to give me a second. God forbid had, people in my life cut me off the first time I made a mistake, I'd be a very lonely person, right? Like We all make mistakes. We all, so anyway, the whole purpose of positive assumptions to me is that if you, the world is tough to look through negative lenses all the time, but your relationships suck because you're expecting the worst out of somebody. Yeah. And why would I be in a relationship that I expect the worst out of them? I think you're going to be the meanest person and the most unloving, or that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. And I miss out on your greatness if I don't give you a shot, right? Like I miss out on great opportunities and great conversations and great lessons in life if I don't have positive assumptions. And so I think anytime you come in, and I've had to coach my own teams on this, like my leadership teams, that we have to first of all believe we're a team, and we are Team Avritt. That's our first kind of filter. Yeah. The second thing is you have to believe that everybody on the team wants what you want, and you're going to work together to get that. And I think that's what we do.
That's one of the biggest, I think, developing that in a relationship is what I've noticed in all these years that, in private practices and working with couples, individuals and couples, and then even in our own relationship, that is so challenging to be vulnerable enough to let go. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes when people are stuck, they're hanging on, right? They are hanging on for dear life. And, it's like we're playing tug of war, but I'm the only one on my side of the rope. And I am afraid to let go, because if I let go, I have to trust that someone else is going to pull just as hard. Mm. It is such a scary thing to be vulnerable to another human being. It's not scary to be in a relationship. It's not scary, for some people to date. But it is scary for some people to realize that person across from you is the person for you. They're your quote unquote soulmate, person, whatever you want to say. It is so difficult to finally just give in, but it's such a relief when you realize it, that you having positive assumptions leads to you realizing you are not the only one in charge of your survival anymore. You may have been for all those years that led up to that moment, until you have this realization that other person across from you is going to help you survive, and you are going to help them survive. And that's a relief. That's confidence and momentum in a relationship. I wish we had gotten to that sooner in our relationship. That was my inability to be mentally flexible. But, the greatest teacher and the greatest way to learn is to actually teach. And I think I've come to that realization through this process of helping others. Sure. I've had all these epiphanies for our relationship and our life, but many of those came from you. So it was your teaching of having positive assumptions about people, that you were not coming at me to attack me. You were just trying to solve a problem. And I was getting defensive a lot. And I, probably still am guilty of that, depending.
So I think positive assumptions, I can always go back. I can always go backwards. But if I come from a positive place and I'm going to be open and I'm going to listen, I'm going to see, and I have positive assumptions about people and their relation, whatever the relationship is, or that they're coming from the best place they can. I'm also not a dummy. And so I'm not. If it's a true, you can pick up pretty quickly. If you listen to people long enough, they'll tell you all about what they're upset about and what they want. And you just got to listen. Yeah. I know this. This is what you do, right?
But thinking to myself, I'm like, this character trait, this character strength.
It's a shadow side.
Yes, there are shadow sides.
Everybody has
all of them. Loyal to a fault, and all that, saying honest to a fault. But I think your greatest superpower as it pertains to deciding, having positive assumptions, or when it's time to pump the brakes and say, well, wait a minute, I gave this person the space, and maybe I need to handle this differently. Your superpower is social intelligence. But you said this earlier when which I thought was really fascinating, tidbit for people. And what a great coping strategy for any uncomfortable situation with another human. When you have positive assumptions about people, it allows you to slow down.
Yes.
When you have negative assumptions about people, we immediately get defensive as if we're being attacked, and human nature, fight or flight instinct, when people are under attack, cortisol level goes up.
Do
survival switches
something,
up.
do something. I have to do something
now.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so you immediately, when you have negative assumptions about people, you hamstring and inhibit your ability to give any space and any time to process, because you are immediately on the defensive. Immediately. If your lens is having a negative assumptions about anything or anyone, you are constantly on the defensive attack.
Sure.
You're on the counterattack. And what time do you have to process whether or not this person deserves your space and grace if you are already counterattacking? Sure. You don't. Sure. So that in itself, right, is a really great strategy. Start with the positive. How about that for a change in people, right?
Slow down.
Yeah, slow down.
Stories in your head that you've made up are going to be the fastest and the loudest and the most anxiety driven, right? And so I think anytime that we can, I don't know, enter a space in a positive way, your energy is going to go positive as well. Yeah. People around you eventually are going to be positive. It's really hard. Have you ever been able to be mean to somebody who's smiling and happy and like, hey, how's it going? And really like, oh, how are things? Like,
I'm not going to answer that question. In my current career, I think I can say I have.
Think about Miss Beatty.
But I'm also
beautiful Beatty.
Yes.
Could you ever not be nice to her?
Oh gosh, no. When someone is positive, like Miss Beatty, and anybody that ever listens to this podcast from where we're from,
that's
all I got to say.
You'll know who Miss Beatty is.
Yeah, yes. She approaches everybody with like, everybody as that they're the champ. She calls people champions.
Champions, beautiful and champion.
Yeah, exactly. And so
it's amazing.
But
sorry,
in my my former career as a basketball coach, there were plenty of referees that started nice. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, those weren't your best days.
Those weren't my best days.
You weren't a great role model.
Those weren't my best.
No,
probably not.
No,
I did not have positive assumptions about them.
Yeah, it's really hard to coach from the parking lot when you get a technical.
It's not really, actually. It didn't always end up in the parking lot.
Oh, the lobby then.
A couple times. I ended up without clipboards. That's you know. So lately, I've been having a really difficult time having positive assumptions. And again, it goes against everything that we're trying to teach people. And so this is proof that we are human as well, right?
Like we're evolving.
It is evolving 2 steps forward, 1 step back sometimes, right?
Never. It's a dance.
I'm really struggling lately to have positive assumptions about working in insurance. And so this will be possibly a whole nother episode for those counselors who are working for agencies or working for someone else, or getting out of college and thinking, ooh, I'm going to immediately start my own private practice and I'm going to save the world. And we feel beholden to insurance companies. And I'm really struggling lately to have positive assumptions about insurance companies. So I want to share a quick email sort of back and forth I had with, I won't say the name of the insurance company because I don't want them to like start to reject all my claims, right? Because that will happen, right? But I was checking on the status of an application with a certain insurance company. I'm already credentialed with part of this company. I'm trying to get to be credentialed with more beneficiaries within the same organization. Okay. And so they called me and I asked this question and they were like, in order to answer the question, you should email the credentialing department. I'm like, no problem. I can email the credentialing department. So I did. Ask them this question. Hey, checking on the status of, fill in the blank application. I completed the application 7 months ago, like in January, right after the first of the year, just checking on the status. And so 7 months is alarming to some people, but with some insurance companies, that's about standard.
I think we were told 120 days.
Yeah, we were told 120 days. However,
this would be more.
3 months, 2 months, 4 months, 5 months. It's not uncommon for these things to take months.
Sure.
Right? But we're at the 7 or 8 month mark. I waited. This was in early July. So I waited 2 weeks and I didn't get a response. So I replied back. I said, hey, I am just checking on the status of the email that I sent you before that asked you about the status of the credentialing application. Will someone please respond with an answer? Send. I got a response last week, which is now we're in the last week of August, right? So A month later, I get a response. The response went something like this. You are in network with this insurance company. But it was the in network with the insurance, the part of the insurance that I already knew. That was it.
So
You're in network with this insurance
She
company.
confirmed that you already had the insurance you knew you had.
Yeah, exactly. She confirmed what I knew that I had already,
Yes.
that we've been seeing people for a long time. So I replied back to her. I said, I'm really sorry, but please read the text exchange, the chain
email
of
in its
email. Yeah, or I'm
entirety?
sorry, the email chain. And I was checking on the status of this other application. And she goes, oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't read those. You are not in network. And I went, so I replied back. And this is like,
and you did a screenshot
and
this
is
time.
like day after day after day. So it takes like 24 hours to get
Screenshot of the email.
Yes.
Please see
Yeah.
below.
Yeah. So I'm like screenshotting and
Highlighting
important things, like underlining. I'm doing all the
providing
things.
some visual support.
I'm like bordering on being a complete asshole at this point. Like, but I'm getting very frustrated.
I'm sure her positive assumption was
I'm
that you were
sure. Yeah,
an
yeah.
asshole, actually.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
She
carry on.
assumed I was great.
Yep.
So I was not checking on this to see if I'm in it. I know I'm not in it, which is why I'm checking on the status of the application that I completed in January. And she replied back, yeah, that department's really busy right now.
Pretty backed up.
But the signature from her was from the department. Like, I know the department's busy right now, but like you could just say, just look me up. Like, what's the status? So it is really difficult in what we do if you decide that you want to take insurance, which helps so many more people, right? You just, not only are you going to find more clients to build your private practice, but it helps more people.
Sure.
It's the whole point of this is what we do is to help people. It's really challenging to have positive assumptions about the insurance communication. I know that person's overwhelmed. I know that person has a difficult job. They're getting snarky assholes email them like me and who just want answers and are tired of not getting answers. And so we're getting fussy but it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Now, is there anything I can do about it other than just, USA, take a deep breath and be patient? No.
Calm the fuck down.
I need to calm the fuck down.
That's what you need to do.
Well, that's really good counseling advice, actually, which I've said before in sessions. Yeah. Good advice.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. I know. It's not.
I mean, I know it is a big
But
deal
that's an
because there's a
example,
whole
right?
population of people who are not getting benefits are not getting the benefit of counseling because of this
Absolutely.
situation.
That's also the
That's
frustrating part. It's like
frustrating.
you're watching the beneficiaries or these clients reach out to you, and there's not a lot you can do.
For sure.
If the insurance companies are this far backed up, and it's a systemic thing, we hear that word a lot, but it truly is this big systematic issue that we have that, unfortunately, there's a great need, not enough availability, and availability is challenging when you're navigating through the insurance world as well. So everybody's working as fast as they can. So that's the one, I guess, the positive assumption here is everyone's working as fast as they can. So babe, as we wrap this up, since you helped me decide, or you helped me in my life realize to have positive assumptions more, it's really changed my perspective on a lot of things, not with others, but also in our relationship. What's one takeaway we can give people from our experiences in life about having positive assumptions? What's a homework assignment that they can do this week to give it a try?
I mean, I think about the young Kelly Avritt that was the coach's wife that was, an administrator and had 4 kids under 10 and was getting people places, and I was tired and I'm burnt out and I'm overwhelmed, and you come in and you're trying to, like, I know there's tons of wives like that. I know military wives, that's typical to have. You're a single parent, basically. It's not I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just you're gone all the time. You were gone all the time, and soldiers are gone all the time. So I think about those moms who were working and trying to do all the things and burnt out and burnt to a crisp, really. And how easy it would have been. I was already hyped up. I was already ramped up, right? I was already like tired and frustrated and whatever. And thinking to myself at 32, this is it. This is what I get. I get all these kids in a dirty out. This is it. I couldn't have any positive assumptions about that at all, right? At the time, because I'm overwhelmed. But I think what I had to learn to do before I fired off, like pissed off because you didn't do this or that, or this didn't work out the way I wanted it to, right? Or I've got another kid vomiting and I've got to get this one to practice. And where's John? Oh, he's at basketball practice. Okay, great. So being overwhelmed and up to your armpits and alligators, and not being quite sure, knowing you got to go forward because you can't go back. You don't want to go back to that. I think it's really about take a beat before you fire that off, before you fire that text off, before you bark at him. Like, take a deep breath, because you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So if you say something you're going to regret, you're going to have to eat it. If you lose your temper, you're going to have to clean it up. If you lose your shit and you fall apart, somebody's got to clean that up too. So take a minute and take a deep breath and go, okay, is this person on my team? Does this person love me? Do they want what's best for me? Or, hey, the cleanup's too big for me. I'd rather just take a breath and be positive and think good things, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
But it's that moment that you get that helps you use your powers for not good and not evil.
Yeah. It's great. I think pausing and taking a breath is only allowable if you have positive assumptions, right? So if that's like your personal expectation, taking that breath and just like rescue that thought, right? Rescue it, slow down, right? Change lanes, right?
Change lanes.
So important.
Or get off the highway. Like,
yeah, right.
Everybody's got choices to make.
Pull over,
Right.
regroup, right?
Yeah, everybody's got choices to make.
Yeah, exactly.
But every choice has a consequence. And so it's really about the cleanup and, weighing the options.
Yeah.
And, I'm reminded of we talk about Father Bill, and Father Bill had gotten in a fight with his brother, and they were kind of at a standoff, right? They were furious. And he's telling this story about he wanted to be right. He knew he was right. He wanted to be right. And his brother calls him and said, hey, Bill, you can have it or you can have me. He's like, what do you mean? You can have it. You can be right, and you can have it and be right, or you can have me. And I think as in relationships, I think people get, especially when everybody's tired and burnout and at their wits' end. And I think it's really easy to want to be right and to want to prove that you're right. And what you do is miss out on the rest. You miss out on the problem solving and the great things that happen when you're a team. And so I think that's the other piece that comes with positive assumptions. That moment or that break gets you to take a minute and go, do I want to be right, or do I want this man, or do I want to be right? Or you know what I think it's
Yeah. It's so hard, I think, for people that want to be right at work. They don't want to be wrong at work. They don't
necessarily need to be right. They just don't want to be wrong.
They want to be wrong. They don't want to be wrong with their friends, right?
Right.
They get into these debates with their friends, but there's significant others, their spouses, they're not threats. Like, they're not threats. I don't need to be right with you all the time. You're not a threat to me.
You're not the enemy.
You're my partner.
Right.
Right. You're the person I want to be with. And learning that lesson a long time ago, it's like, I can be right all the time. It speaks to the Jordan Peterson quote. Yeah. It's like, that's a horrible fucking strategy for marriage.
It's terrible.
To be right all the time means that person's wrong all the time. And that's not leading to connection. I think for me, but
what if they are wrong, really?
Well,
really, what if they are?
They could be, but like, we're working together,
I
right?
mean,
that's why we fill each other's gaps, right? Like, there's a lot of times I am wrong all the time, and that's okay, right? But
should we not point it out?
No, we don't want to point it out. No. I don't know if my ego can handle that. But like, we have these, like, that's understanding other, like, I love you no matter what, right? Flaws and all, right?
Right.
I think if any, like, for homework, and if I could just talk to like men right now,
talk to the coach that was never there.
Yeah, I need to talk to, like,
because you have guilt about that, and you shouldn't anymore. You shouldn't anymore, but
I know. I mean, it was I loved what I was doing,
Yeah.
but like being gone for so long and spending time with all these other kids and not my own and not my wife. It's certainly not what it's a like a functionally stupid system, right? To spend so many hours away from home coaching. That's a whole nother.
Well, we
coaching
spent
thing's
12
whole
hours
nother
a day
debate.
with other people's kids.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
exactly. So if I could say anything to men right now is when, when you get into this conflict with your spouse, or when you are feeling like you're being attacked, right? Or you're feeling like what she's saying is making you feel like a big piece of shit. I need you to look at her and remind yourself that you love her. And I defy any man if you truly love your wife, when you are feeling attacked, if you don't instantly remind yourself that you love her, I defy you to then feel like you can counterattack her. It's like change the lens. I understand that when we're being attacked by anyone for any reason, we get into this sniper vision where now I'm looking through my scope and I'm ready to assassinate that person across from me. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to have binocular vision, remembering that, okay, I'm seeing one thing, but through the other lens, I absolutely fucking love her, period. And if I can remind myself of that, this is no longer a her versus me. This is no longer my significant other is attacking me. It's not an attack. I remember that I love her. And if you can do that, that's what I want everybody to challenge themselves with. If they take away anything, remind yourself. And this goes back to Father Bill, right? Another important priest in our life,
I know.
right?
We don't even go to church them. I mean, like,
Oh, I know. But like
I don't know why.
that story resonates so much with couples counseling. Like, you can have me, the person you love, or you can be right. What's the tactical strategy there?
That's all the time we have for this week. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.